As you all know, I'm not a coder. I cannot take a blank piece of paper and code up some of this really cool CSS3 stuff that's coming down the pipe. And when Adobe announced the Adobe Fireworks CSS3 mobile pack, you could hear my little feet dancing from here to eternity, basically. And the purpose of this tutorial is basically to introduce you to one of the features of the CSS3 mobile pack, which is the CSS3 properties panel. And in a subsequent tutorial, I'm going to get you into the other piece of it, which is even cooler, jQuery mobile theme skinning. So to get yourself started, what you need to do is you got to head over to labs.adobe.com. Click on the Technologies link and then find the Fireworks CSS3 Mobile Pack link right here on the right-hand side under the All Technologies. Click it and you'll come to this page. And what you do is you download the mobile pack. It is an extension and it will install both pieces into Fireworks. Once you've got the extension installed, then you can start to work. And to start to work, what you need to do is flame up Fireworks. So I've got Fireworks flamed up, got a blank canvas, brand new document here, and I'm just going to create an object that's, typical CSS3 kind of thing. We're going to come to the Tools panel here, draw a rectangle, and I'll just draw a big old rectangle. And you notice it's got a black stroke and a white fill. That's interesting, but let's fill it with a gradient. So we'll just choose a gradient. We'll choose a linear gradient. There we go. Typical black to white stuff. You can change the color if you want. And of course, one of the things we usually do with this sort of thing is give it a little bit of roundness because it is a button. So it's nicely rounded here. And I can't see it up at the top here. So I'm going to change the stroke color to a different color. Let's make it evident and make it a blue. There we go. And while we're at it, let's do what everybody does and give it a drop shadow. And we'll make the drop shadow a little bit more pronounced. There we go. And we'll make it a little bit darker. There we go. Done. Now, when you're working with the CSS properties panel, understand it only works with single objects. So if you were to make this even as a group with text in it, ain't going to work. It's single objects. But the cool thing about this is that you can actually mock up a page, like prototype up a page design, and then just basically export the CSS that applies to each of the selected objects. And remember too that you can, even if you've got objects under objects, there's a tool right here under the select tool, which is the select behind tool, which allows you to select objects behind other objects. Okay, so how do we get this from being a big old button on a Fireworks page to something in Dreamweaver? First thing you do is you select the object to go, and you come to Window, Extensions, CSS Properties, and the panel opens. Now the CSS Properties panel is very simple. These are all the properties that apply to the selected object. There's the background color, the gradient, the width, the height, and all that stuff. And down here is all the CSS code for applied for all the various browsers that'll read it out there. And you can either select just bits and pieces of this. Let's just say you want to ignore the box shadow. So you can just select the background color and the border style, and you can export just those selected styles, or you can select the whole thing and click the All button. Now, what if you want to make a change to this thing? For instance, let's change the gradient. We'll take the gradient over here and sort of have it go diagonally. Well, if you make a change, all you got to do is just click the Refresh Panel button, and the panel refreshes to reflect your change. Okay, so let's get this over to Dreamweaver. So we just click the All button, and that just moves all of this stuff here at the bottom of the panel onto the clipboard. And we can pop over to an HTML5 document in Dreamweaver, and let's get it going. So the first thing I want to do, of course, is insert a div tag. Got to have a div tag for this, and we'll call it FWCSS. And click the New Rule button. This will open up this new CSS rule. We get the selector, click OK. We don't need any properties. They're currently sitting on the clipboard, but you notice there's the selector right there. Click OK, Click OK. Press the return key, paste. And if you refresh, you'll see there's your box. Now the box doesn't have the rounded corners, and that's in live view. If I turn off live view, you're not even going to see it. So if you turn on live view, you can see the box, and notice it's not showing you the round corners. Aha! Yes, it does. If you do a preview or debug in browser, let's preview in Safari. I'll just save these changes. There it is there, so I can close Safari, and I can preview it in Firefox. There it is there. Close it. Whoops, back to Dreamweaver. And I can preview it in Opera. There it is there. Back to Dreamweaver. And I can even preview it in Google Chrome. So the properties moved. So there it is. There's a really good example of working with a new feature of Fireworks, the CSS3 properties, and you can actually have some fun with them by simply installing the extension, drawing up your object, opening the CSS properties panel, and basically moving the properties of the selected object over to Dreamweaver.